Alright, Shalom, Shalom. Gonna say Kal Halal, Yah Bashim Yahweh Bashim Mikakadash, double honor to the apostles and elders of great wisdom, and salutation to the Akim pushing this word in truth and sincerity. Just another quick hit. This one's from the BBC News. This is regarding the man of put it this way, the evil man, the bloody man, yeah. Anyway, this is the Prime Minister of England, yeah. He stepped down, he's abdicated, as they say, stepped down from a high position because his party is capitulated, it all imploded. 40 odd MPs resigned because this man is a buffoon, yeah, but don't even comb his hair. It says here, Boris Johnson will stay on, but only as caretaker, Prime Minister, new cabinet agrees. It says here, Boris Johnson has quit as Conservative leader, saying it is clearly now the will of the Tory MPs that there should be a new leader. He pledges to stay on as Prime Minister until a successor is chosen. But a growing number of Tory MPs say he has to leave number 10 now. The Edomites are something else, bruv. They hate each other, so these other nations don't stand a chance, man. They're wicked and evil, bruv. It says here, Johnson assured cabinet Johnson assured Cabinet this afternoon he would only act as caretaker Prime Minister while remaining in position, with New Welsh Secretary Robert Buckland says. But the ex-Prime Minister John Major says Johnson should go now for the good of the country. Labour also says Johnson must leave office, saying they could try to bring a no-confidence vote in Parliament. Downing Street announces 12 new ministers, filing some of the posts left vacant by the recent wave of resignations. Foreign Secretary Liz Truss, a possible leader contender who has remained silent for days, says her party needs to keep governing until a new leader is found. Okay, so it's indicative of Esau's kingdom. So let's get a script, right? Boris Johnson has fallen. So let's get the script. Let's see what it says. This is Revelation 8, and I'll start from 1. And it says, let me just check my blower. Getting a few calls coming in. Let me just quickly check it. Right, it says there, this is Revelations 18 and 1, and it says, after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, is fallen. It's talking about America. Anywhere this Edomite is, let's put Boris Johnson as fallen, yeah? Even though it talks about don't change the words of God. So just a bit of humor in there. It says, Babylon is fallen, Babylon the Great is fallen, and became the habitation of devils. Because what is the Edomites? They're the devils on earth. They're the incarnated. They're the fleshly devils. When you got the spiritual devil, the demon Satan, he's got his children, yeah? Because Satan or devil comes from the word diablos, what means deceiver. These Edomites have deceived the whole world. The old Charlie in the Chocolate Factory, or is it the Wizard of Oz, when Toto pulled back the curtain to show the wizard, the deceiver, working his magic, and it says the habitation of devils and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. All nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. What's that talking about? Her Hollywood, her education. It's all wine. Wine is like philosophies, yeah? So everybody's been philosophized by the Edomites. You know, LGBTQZ and so forth and so on. And it says the wrath of her fornication, yeah? And the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her. Who's the kings of the earth? All these other nations. In order for you to buy oil, you have to buy the petrol. You have to use the petrol dollar. Okay? So that's a fornication, a way of fornicating. But now Russia and China and all them, a lot of countries are want the ruble and the yuan. They don't want that dollar no more. That's why Babylon is falling. Is falling. Committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth have waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. Because America was the place where you could go and get rich, but not now. It's falling. I heard another voice from heaven saying, "Come out of her, my people." Now this is the Lord talking to the Israelites what are in America, telling them to come out, not jump on a plane like bubble-eyed blackfish. No, it means come out of her mentally, yeah? Because not every Negro in America has got the finances to jump on a plane and leave. So he's saying come out of her ways spiritually, yeah? And it says, "My people, ye be not partakers." It says, "Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins." Because that's where you're gonna have. What's that place they call it? Las Vegas? Is it what, Sin City? Yeah. Of her sins, that ye may receive not of her plagues. The last one I done not too long ago was about the plagues of locusts or crickets or whatever. They're all from the same family, grasshoppers. Yeah. So these are the plagues. What other plagues they got? They got famine coming. Yeah. They got famine over there. They got tornadoes. There's loads of plagues. The same plagues of Egypt is the same plagues what America's getting. Why? Because America is spiritually Babylon, spiritually Egypt, spiritually Sodom. And you find all those things there. You go to the, what is a Washington Monument? Is an obelisk, yeah? What is LGBTQ parades? Sodom, yeah? So it's all there. And it says here, her sins have reached unto heaven, and God have remembered her iniquities. Yeah, her sins have reached unto heaven, and literally they've gone up into the heavens where the Most High said where He dwells. So that's why He said, "Let's will I bring them down? Will I Obadiah? Though they set their nest amongst the stars, thence will I bring you down." And it says here, "Reward her even as she rewarded you." How did they reward the Israelites? Slavery, rape, rob, murder. So the Lord said, "What? Reward her as she rewarded you." There's a universal principle called karma. What goes around comes around. Yeah, you reap what you sow. If you reap, if you put, let me see, what kind of seed? If you put corn, you're gonna reap corn. Yeah, but if you reap wickedness, you're gonna get wickedness back. Yeah, it says here, "Reward her even as she rewarded you." So the Lord's saying, reward the so-called Edomite. No, the Edomites, not the so-called, they're Edomites. The so-called white man. Yeah? Reward you double unto her according to her work. So everything they've done to the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, the Lord said, give it back to them double. In the cup which she have filled, fill to her double. So the Lord doubled it up, even in his words. How much she have glorified herself and lived deliciously, as in America known as the most delicious place in the world, where they got a submarine sandwich where you can actually use. I'm talking about a plate of food. It's called a submarine sandwich. It's it looks like a what's that bread called? That long bread. Oh, I forgot it's called. It's like a long bread, but it's filled. They put everything. It's like a sandwich, but they put everything in it. You could use it as a canoe. It's that long, yeah. So they live deliciously. It says here how she had glorified herself and lived deliciously. They got some big steaks and everything. They were eating deliciously out there. Everything was delicious out there. For she said in her heart that I sit a queen. Doesn't America say that? What's that? I'm proud to be an American and all that madness. I would sit as a queen and am no widow, right? Because there's been no wars on American except the Civil War. Oh, that's Americans fighting Americans, but there's been no other nation what set foot as in war fighting in America. Yeah. and she shall see no sorrow. So this is saying, no, well, nothing will happen to us because we got the war machine, yeah? But the Lord got something for you. Go and fight you. Make your war machine fight a tornado or an earthquake. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is the Lord, Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, who judgeth her. Yeah? So the Lord is all setting her up. You know what I mean? You know when a whore gets set up and she get robbed. America's getting set up. Yeah? And it says, all the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her, that's all the other nations, because they've done trade with America because of the dollar, shall bewail her and lament her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. Because what's Russia going to do? I'm in England, and they're telling the English that Russia's telling the English that we got the missiles pointed at you first. But ultimately, America is the only country, according to Revelations, that's going to be a pit. It's going to be a desert, all desert creatures. Yeah. And it says here, standing off afar of the fear of her torment, saying, alas, alas, that great city Babylon, the mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. So this is the fall of the whole of the Edomite Empire, but Boris Johnson has just fell. Yeah? So I'm just using this as an analogy of the so-called white man who is the Edomite falling. Yeah? And it says here, and the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth her merchandise anymore. Okay? So the point is, Boris Johnson has fell. Yeah? So I'm going to say, all praises to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and salutation to the Akim pushing his word in truth and sincerity. Yeah, Kwam Yasharala Wa Baba Bo. Every day and all day. Destruction to this place, man. It's irksome. Shalom.